Hey, Mike, high school football is here. High school football media day. Everybody's all hyped for football season, but baseball's not going anywhere, baby. We're still in mid-season form. It's still baseball season here in the Summit City. This is TinChattin. He's Mike Maz. I'm Peter Hood, and we still got a stretch run here, man.
Well, football will take its place in due time. Right now, counting tonight, there's 38 games left on the schedule, and though the Tin Caps have been struggling a bit the last couple of nights in Kentucky, prior to the trip to the Commonwealth, they had won back-to-back three-game series, 2 out of 3 against both Peoria and Cedar Rapids. So a couple of obstacles that they were not able to overcome the last 2 nights, but still, mathematically at least, the possibility is there to make it to the playoffs. But as I said, Peter, 38 games counting this series finale in Kentucky tonight, and the Tin Caps have got to start to put it into gear.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we've said consistently inconsistent, roller coaster up and down. I mean, there's a million different ways we've tried to put it, but it's just kind of been a continuation of the same thing over and over again. Really good homestand, you win 4 out of 6, and then you go on the road, you lose the lead on Wednesday night, and then yesterday, Bowling Green was just the better team from the outset, and you find yourself now in a position where you've lost a series on the road. So, Mike, really just a continuation of a lot of the same things we've been talking about all season, no?
But the crazy thing, Peter, if you look at the second half standings in the Midwest League, they're only 5 games out of a playoff spot. 5 games with 38 games remaining. And we're all done playing East versus West. So these remaining 38 games, to some degree, are doubly important because you're going to take on the teams that you have to beat to make it to the playoffs. So a win over them is like sweeping a doubleheader.
Mike, and you know, the last time you and I spoke, we saw some history made here at Parkview Field. It was last Thursday night. We saw the biggest comeback in Tin Caps history. Since the last time you and I spoke, there's been even more history made here at Parkview Field, because on Monday night, you saw something calling a game, and Justin Prince, who was here filming the game for us, saw something that you just don't see very often in baseball. And one of the things that I think is really cool about this sport is it seems like every day you see something different that you've never seen before. And Diwan Sutton maybe had the most painful night of baseball. They won the game, so from that standpoint, it wasn't painful, but got hit by a pitch 4 times, only the 6th time that's happened since 2005 in minor league baseball. And for some perspective, it's never happened 4 times at the major league level. And I just wonder, Mike, you've been calling games a long time. Where does that rank for you as far as weird things that you've seen on a baseball field?
Oh, definitely in the top 10. And you had to feel for DWS each and every time he got plunked. But on the other side of the coin, on 2 of those 4 occasions when he was hit by a pitch, the bases were loaded, so he got a real easy run batted in, not once but twice. But yeah, you're right. That's something we haven't seen before. A player getting hit by a pitch 4 times, 4 consecutive times in the same game. But that's the beauty of baseball, as you mentioned a moment ago. You come out to the ballpark, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And if we can switch gears a little bit, you know, you and I obviously have been doing this segment together now for, this is our 3rd season, and we've seen a lot of guys come through here who have had success at higher levels. And, of course, the Padres farm system has been touted as the best in Major League Baseball for the last several seasons. And Padres are starting to see some of the fruits of that labor. Of course, Fernando Tatis made his MLB debut earlier this year. Logan Allen the same way. And this week, a couple more former Tin Caps get the call to the show. Adrian Morahone, Michelle Baez, both get the nod up in San Diego. And those were 2 guys that, you know, they were about as dominant as we've seen here in a Tin Cap uniform doing this segment the last 3 years.
I think back to the game on the 4th of July in 2017 when Baez struck out 14 batters and he had a dynamite fastball. You mentioned he got the call up. Adrian Morahone got the call up, both from AA Amarillo. They have both seen action. Morahone has actually made a start for the San Diego Padres, and I believe that runs the count now to 186 former Fort Wayne players, whether through the Minnesota Twins organization or through the Padre organization, that have made it, as John Nolan and Evan Stockton like to say, going from the 260 to the show.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of talent come through here the last couple of years. There's a lot of talent here on the field in 2019, and hopefully they'll have a good week this week. And whatever happens, Mike and I will be back next week to discuss it. He's Mike Maas, voice of the Fort Wayne TinCaps. I'm Peter Hood. We appreciate you joining us, as always, for another edition of TinChattin', and like you to stick around if you can, because there's much more coming up in the locker room right after this break.